Engine's in the car. So we got the ECU over here. I wrapped up all the wiring and everything. That's going to plug into the normal connectors. We also got the water lines to the heater core all routed up. Got the brake booster connected to the vacuum line. Steering shaft is in. Engine mounts are in. We're going to work on doing the rest of the cooling lines. We got one of the fittings right here that's going to go to the radiator, along with this one down here. We're waiting for another fitting to come in for that. This is going to go to the expansion tank. We're going to chop this one down. We're going to finish connecting up the power steering lines. Hopefully there'll be a bit more together, probably right now. All right, there is a bit more together. I put the whole front on the car, the upper tie bar, so I can start mounting the radiator and figuring out gaps and clearances. We got the intake. It's not completely bolted on right now, but I'm just checking clearance and gaps. So one thing I was running into was the radiator. The outlet was making contact, or at least was coming really close with the charge pipe. I got the radiator over here. Chopped it off and be moving it up more and then filling in the other hole. And then also, yes, so we got the clutch all in now, and we got the shifter all hooked up, and the drive shaft is connected. So right now everything is connected. For the clutch, when I went to go bleed the cylinder the first time, it completely shattered. So I bought another one, ended up being another plastic one, putting that one in. This right here is going to be the upper radiator hose. So it's going to connect right here to this port. I know you can't see it because it's dark, but there's a port right here, and I'm going to loop it all the way around, and it's going to make contact with the upper radiator right there. So let's get that welded up. We're going to get this hose all connected once the radiator's back in, and that's what it looks like right now. All right, upper radiator hose is in, radiator is in, lower hose is in. So you can see how it bends around. And then when we come over here, lower hose is now connected to the radiator. And then also, if we crawl down to the bottom, we got the adapter on for the intercooler. So this is the turbo outlet right here, and it comes down. We got this hose, and that's gonna make contact with our intercooler. So this one right here is a 4-inch one, just a universal one. We haven't made any mounting brackets or anything yet, but I'm going to connect them off the end of the rail caps. So that's all, at least the radiator cooling system in. If we crawl underneath the vehicle, I moved around all the fuel lines, the return lines and everything. We got our new electric pump mounted right here. And then if we move up, we got our filter that's mounted right here. We just got a bunch of fittings and some hosing for the power steering. So we're going to be doing an AN line starting off right here at the top of the pressurized pump and then going down to the rack. So let's get the intercooler mounted and the power steering hoses connected. All right, intercooler is in. All the charge pipes and everything are all connected, as you can see right there. If we come around, tucks right behind the radiator and then goes straight up into the intake right there. We also have a new filter. Not really thrilled with the color, but we're gonna run it for now. We replaced some of the sensors, like the coolant temperature sensor and then the fuel rail pressure sensor. I ended up breaking both of them, so this one we had to drill out and extract. And this one, you can see how I snapped it. That caught the cherry picker with the chain and everything. I ended up finding this rubber seal, and I'm pretty sure it's for the intake. So intake's gonna come back on. We're gonna check all the seals, make sure they're all on there. I got the power steering hose all on, but I ended up buying the wrong hose. So I bought new fittings. We're gonna be redoing this right here, but you can see how it dips down and that runs down into the rack. So we're gonna swap out that power steering line. We're going to pull the intake and put a new seal on it. We just bought new piping, so we're gonna be finishing up the exhaust, or at least starting up the whole exhaust here soon. And then we're gonna cut away some of this cowl to make some room, and then we can reinstall that, try to keep some of the heat away from the heater core and all that. So I got a bit of work, but for you, it's just a second. So here's some more. All right, so I took the intake off, and when I had the intake off, there's still a couple wires that I had no clue where they went. As like this one, well, this goes to the air temp sensor, which would normally plug into the charge pipe, but this charge pipe that I built does not have a fitting area for it. So we got a new charge pipe coming so we can fit the air temp sensor. Also, there's a fuel temp sensor right here. On the American car, there is a 2-pin. On this one, which is the European harness, it's a 4-pin. Also, we got the power steering line on, as you can see right there. It's all still braided. And the lovely exhaust. So this is just tacked up and everything right now. It's all 3-inch, just straight tubing. I'll probably put a tip on the end, but right now, this is the shape of it. So I'm gonna get this all welded up. I might make a tip. We're gonna get it all bolted back on after it's all painted and protected. It's just mild steel. I didn't do stainless or anything. I'm just trying to get this thing done. So simpler and easier and quicker. We're gonna get this welded up. We're gonna get the sensors back in, the intake on. We still gotta flush out the gas tank and run a bunch of diesel through it since it was a gas car before. And hopefully very soon we'll start it. So we're starting off inside the car. Found out when I went to go rewire in the reverse light switch, because the rat ate it, that it ate a bunch of wires. So I just went through, rewired and repinned a bunch of pigtails to the window switches. Also, you can see that we got the charge pipe disconnected again. I forgot about one of the sensors that I needed to hook up. So the wiring is actually different on the harness from Europe and the American one. So I got the American charge pipe, I got the pigtail from the American sensor. I'm gonna rewire this. It's just a 2-pin, super nice and easy. And then I have to figure out how to modify these two pipes together. Also got the exhaust over here. It's just painted black, waiting to put that in. So we're gonna get the exhaust in. I'm gonna wire up a couple more pigtails for the center console and get that all back together. And then we're gonna get the charge pipe back in place also. Let's get those parts on. All right, all the interior is mostly back together, at least in this area. We got everything all wired up, all put back in and screwed in place. And then when we come to the back, we got both of the sending unit and the fuel pump removed. So you can see on this side, we just got finished cleaning everything out, making it all nice and vacuuming it and getting all the gas out. Right now we got the pump sitting over there, airing out outside the garage. We're gonna remove this one because we got the inline one underneath the car now. So instead, we're just gonna put a straight piece of fuel line going down to the bottom of the tank. So on the exhaust, the tip was just single 3-inch, but now we went over to 2 3-inches. Doesn't look as ricey or anything like that. So exhaust is now on the car. We're gonna finish up with the fuel tank. Oh yeah, also the intercooler. So we got the charge pipe back on also. I ended up chopping out the longer center portion and just putting the OEM pipe in. You can see the original fitting coming down to boot, and then there we are. And then I just wired this one in. So let's get the fuel tanks all done and everything, and then maybe we'll fire this thing up. All right, well, we still don't have any diesel in it yet, but we got the new battery in there. I was running jumper cables off one of my old M5 batteries and just wasn't enough. So we got the new battery in there, tore apart all the loom because obviously I ran into problems, but got everything all wired up. If we connect the battery, turn on the lights. I don't know how much of this is gonna work, which says 140 degrees, it sounds about right. We got the scanner kicking on, and but we got it all cranking. We're gonna fill it with diesel. We're gonna run the fuel pump. We're gonna try to bleed as much out of the fuel rail as possible, and then we'll see if it actually fires up. Well, after a long time of cranking and bleeding, it's running. just fired up probably 10 seconds ago, ran over, I grabbed the camera, and look at that. I'm not gonna floor it or anything yet, I'm just gonna let it sit in idle. We'll see if it builds any coolant temperature or anything like that. On the OBD scanner, it was definitely showing coolant temperature, so I wanna see if the cluster also shows it. Test all the fluid, make sure everything's good, and then maybe we'll go for a very short test drive around the yard. Oh, well, there's a bunch of noise coming from the transmission, so suspected that the old pilot bearing is probably causing it. So I got the other one right here. I'm gonna pull this one out. We're gonna swap it out with that one. We're gonna put the transmission back in, and we'll see from there.